Ready for a sonic time warp into pure controversy? These 20 tracks erupted out of the 1970s, rattled sensors, and forced nervous DJs to yank the needle mid-spin. From punk anthems to country curveballs, every song on this list earned a place in rock and roll infamy. Number 1. God Save the Queen by Sex Pistols, 1977. The Sex Pistols did not just poke the British establishment, they drop-kicked it. Frontman Johnny Rotten rasped about a fascist regime, timing the sneer to collide with Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. Tabloids screamed treason, Parliament members fumed, and the BBC slammed a total ban, refusing even chart recognition. Yet the single rocketed up the sales lists, stoked by fans who hunted it down precisely because it was forbidden fruit. The Pistols' snarling guitars, Paul Cook's pounding drums, and anthemic chants became the worldwide shorthand for punk rebellion. More than a song, God Save the Queen transformed into a rallying cry for disenfranchised youth who felt steamrolled by class hierarchies and economic stagnation. The ban backfired spectacularly. Bootleg copies flooded street markets, pirate stations blasted it at full volume, and the image of Rotten screaming from a Thames River barge became etched in pop culture lore. By silencing the Pistols, authorities accidentally proved the point. The crown could be questioned, and rebellion could sound thrilling. Number 2. Anarchy in the UK by Sex Pistols, 1976. Even before their Jubilee ambush, the Pistols had set radio censors on edge with this grenade of a debut single. Sid Vicious had yet to join, but the attitude was already nuclear. Rotten taunted polite society with lines about being an antichrist and destroy. Mainstream stations panicked, refusing daytime spins and relegating the track to late-night fringe shows, if they played it at all. Listeners, however, devoured every forbidden second. The song's stripped-down power chords and sneering vocals birthed an entire movement. Leather jackets, safety pins, and a do-it-yourself ethos that inspired thousands of garage bands worldwide. Politicians labeled punk a moral plague. The more they ranted, the faster independent record shops sold out of copies. Anarchy in the UK proved that a 2.5-minute blast could expose deep fault lines in society, from class frustration to generational divide. The BBC ban only amplified the message. Institutions trembling at loud guitars made the chorus feel downright prophetic. Number 3. Lola by the Kinks, 1970. Ray Davies penned Lola after a nightclub encounter that blurred gender lines, serving it with a deliciously catchy chorus. The song's playful take on sexual ambiguity had U.S. stations on edge, yet the real BBC ban came from a different culprit: advertising rules. Davies sang "Tastes Just Like Coca-Cola," violating the network's strict no-commercial brands policy. Forced to fly from New York to London, he re-recorded the phrase as "Cherry Cola," rescuing the single from total exile. Still, plenty of programmers quietly kept it off primetime playlists, nervous about its cheeky storyline. Ironically, the intrigue helped the Kinks rebound from a late 60s slump, landing another global hit. Lola opened mainstream ears to LGBTQ themes long before wider acceptance, proving pop music could tackle identity with wit and warmth. By cracking the charts despite censorship hurdles, the Kinks showed ingenuity could outmaneuver outdated rules, and sell records doing it. Number 4. Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Wings, 1972. Paul McCartney's first post-Beatles protest song exploded only weeks after Bloody Sunday left 13 civil rights marchers dead in Derry. His blunt title demanded British withdrawal from Northern Ireland. Within hours of release, the BBC, ITV, and even the pop powerhouse Radio Luxembourg slapped on a total ban, calling it too inflammatory. McCartney doubled down, issuing the single in a bright yellow sleeve so fans could spot it instantly. Critics accused him of naivete, yet Irish listeners felt heard on a global stage. The track's reggae-tinged rock groove masked raw political hurt, bringing a taboo topic into living rooms that preferred escapist glam. Although UK airplay vaporized, sales soared, reaching number 1 in Ireland and cracking the U.S. top 40. McCartney learned controversy could equal currency, and Wings cemented an edgier reputation than many expected from the ex-Beatle dubbed the Cute One. Number 5. One Toke Over the Line by Brewer and Shipley, 1971. One toke over the line, sweet Jesus. A folksy earworm built on tight harmonies, One Toke Over the Line sounded innocuous, until you caught the chorus. Toke was unambiguous 70s slang for a deep drag of marijuana, and suddenly the Federal Communications Commission hinted that stations airing drug anthems might risk their licenses. WNBC New York led a wave of self-censorship. Dozens of affiliates dropped the tune overnight. Paradoxically, Lawrence Welk covered it on his TV show, calling it a modern spiritual, proving generational disconnect can be hilarious. Brewer and Shipley's sales climbed as teens snatched up singles their parents condemned. The FCC never formally outlawed the song, but its unofficial scare tactic showed how powerful mere guidance could be. Decades later, cannabis culture normalized, yet One Toke remains a go-to reference in debates about free speech versus public decency on the airwaves. Number 6. The Pill by Loretta Lynn, 1975. Country radio was a bastion of tradition until Loretta Lynn marched in with a bright pink protest against patriarchal norms. The Pill celebrated birth control freedom in plain-spoken farm wife language. No more endless pregnancies, hello miniskirts and fun. Conservative program directors recoiled, fearing backlash from church groups. Over 60 stations refused spins, and some banned Lynn entirely for months. Yet, rural women mailed her thank you letters, calling the song a revelation. Sales spiked. Doctors reported increased inquiries about contraception in small towns. Lynn, already a trailblazer with hits about divorce and domestic strife, pushed Nashville storytelling into feminist territory without losing her twang. The controversy underlined a key 70s theme: women seizing their own narratives, even if radio felt uneasy about broadcasting them. Number 7. Love to Love You Baby by Donna Summer, 1975. Georgia Moroder's shimmering synths wrapped around Donna Summer's breathy vocals, stretching a steamy groove for a full 17 minutes on the LP cut. Radio edits tried trimming the moans, but many programmers still blushed. The BBC restricted airplay to after 10 p.m., some U.S. middle-of-the-road stations banned it outright. Listeners responded by buying the single in droves, propelling Summer to disco superstardom. The record shattered taboos by foregrounding female pleasure, paving the way for openly sensual dance tracks. What censors framed as indecency, clubgoers embraced as liberation under glittering mirrored balls. The ban ironically helped disco shed its bubblegum image, showing it could provoke as well as party. Number 8. Jungle Fever by the Chakachas, 1971. Belgian Latin funk collective hardly seemed poised for scandal, but Jungle Fever featured heavy breathing layered over bongos and wah-wah guitars. The BBC slapped on a ban within a week, calling it unfit for family listening. U.S. stations in conservative regions followed suit, yet the song still broke into the Billboard Top 10. Its wordless vocals turned club dance floors into playful pantomimes of desire, foreshadowing disco's feverish pulse. The Chakachas themselves faded, but Jungle Fever endured in sampling culture, resurfacing in Quentin Tarantino soundtracks. Proof again that censoring a tune can immortalize it in pop history. Number 9. Kodachrome by Paul Simon, 1973. Bright, summery guitars carried lyrics about color film and fading memories. Trouble was, Kodachrome blatantly name-checked an Eastman Kodak trademark. The BBC's no commercial policy forced an immediate blacklisting unless Simon re-recorded. He refused. British fans had to import copies or catch pirate broadcasts, turning a breezy nostalgia song into an underground commodity. The US, without such strict rules, pushed it to number 2 on the Hot 100. The ban illustrated how corporate references could trip antiquated broadcasting codes, even when the song itself was squeaky clean. Ironically, Kodak relished the free advertising, printing ad spreads that winked at the controversy. Number 10, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll by Ian Dury, 1977. Ian Dury's mischievous chant distilled rock's hedonistic holy trinity into a single hook. The BBC recoiled at the explicit title, barring daytime spins. Dury, disabled by childhood polio, used the spotlight to challenge preconceptions about who could front a rock band. His cheeky delivery and new wave funk groove became an anthem of unrepentant indulgence, but also of inclusivity, as the Blockheads welcomed diverse musicians on stage. Banned from major playlists, the single still carved a cult legacy, cementing a phrase that journalists would wear out for decades whenever musicians misbehaved. Number 11, Killing an Arab by The Cure, 1978. Long before goth became a fashion staple, Robert Smith's trio adapted Albert Camus' existential novel The Stranger into stark post-punk minimalism. Critics praised its literary depth, but the title alone sparked accusations of racism. The BBC pulled it. Later, during Gulf War tensions, many U.S. stations did the same. Smith repeatedly clarified the philosophical context, yet the controversy followed the band for years. Still, the band amplified early Cure mystique, attracting intellectual misfits who sought meaning in sparse guitar lines and whispered despair. The episode remains a textbook case of how provocative art can collide with literal interpretations on the airwaves. Number 12, Short People by Randy Newman, 1977. Newman's satirical jab at bigotry used height as a stand-in for prejudice. Unfortunately, subtle sarcasm can vanish over radio speakers. Some listeners assumed genuine hatred. Maryland delegate Isaiah Dixon tried to outlaw the record statewide. Several AM giants yanked it to dodge complaints, though the song still topped the Billboard chart. Newman weathered the storm by calmly explaining his intent in interviews, reinforcing his reputation as pop's sharpest ironist. The flap underscored a broadcasting dilemma. Satire needs context, but airplay rarely provides explanatory footnotes. Number 13, Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed, 1972. Produced by David Bowie, Reed's languid ode to Warhol superstars included references to transgender identity, drug deals, and a sly allusion to oral sex. U.S. programmers demanded edited versions before daytime rotation, some refused altogether. In Britain, the BBC allowed limited spins, but only after cutting Giving Head. Listeners, curious about what they were missing, bought the uncut single, pushing it into top 20 charts worldwide. Reed introduced Middle America to a slice of New York's avant-garde underground, forever linking a doo-wop bass line with radical acceptance. Number 14, School's Out by Alice Cooper, 1972. With flamethrowers, fake guillotines, and mascara, Alice Cooper specialized in moral panic. When School's Out celebrated kids' ultimate fantasy, classes blown to bits, British campaigner Mary Whitehouse lobbied the BBC to drop it from Top of the Pops. Some U.S. stations echoed the ban, fearing playground riots. Instead, the chorus became a perennial last day of school anthem. Cooper's shock theatrics, far from corrupting youth, transformed rock concerts into Broadway-sized spectacles, birthing the modern arena show. The attempted ban simply added outlaw sparkle to his stage persona. Number 15, My Ding-a-Ling by Chuck Berry, 1972. Chuck Berry, rock's founding poet, scored his first and only U.S. #1 with a novelty-laden in double entendre. While teenagers giggled, many top 40 stations blushed and declined to program it. Religious groups decried its smutty subtext. Yet the song's call-and-response format killed live, proving Berry could still work a crowd. The controversy showcased generational divides. Parents heard scandal, teens heard silliness, and Berry laughed all the way to the bank. Number 16, D.O.A. by Bloodrock, 1971. Based on a real plane crash witnessed by singer Jim Rutledge, D.O.A. opens with a whine of sirens and descends into graphic first-person lyrics of dying on a stretcher. Many U.S. programmers deemed it too gruesome, striking it from playlists. Horror-loving adolescents, however, devoured the macabre tableau, pushing the single into the Hot 100. The band highlighted America's uneasy relationship with violent imagery in music long before explicit content stickers. Number 17, Timothy by the Buoys, 1971. Producer Rupert Holmes, later of Escape, the Pina Colada song, wrote this Appalachian coal mine saga with a cannibalistic twist. Mercury Records hoped the shock would goose sales, and it worked. When stations discovered the lyrics implied miners ate their buddy Timothy, many yanked the song. That mystery only boosted curiosity, sending Timothy to number 17 on Billboard. Proof that outrage, if catchy, can climb charts as reliably as love songs. Number 18, Uncle John's Band by Grateful Dead, 1970. A gentle acoustic jam hardly sounded scandalous, yet Metromedia-owned outlets banned it for one line containing "goddamn." The Dead refused to sanitize, trusting their hippie bass to spread the word at shows. FM freeform DJs played it anyway, helping the Dead cross into mainstream consciousness. The minor band demonstrated how even mild profanity could collide with strict broadcast standards, nudging counterculture further onto the burgeoning FM dial. Number 19, Waterloo by ABBA, 1974. ABBA's glitter-soaked Eurovision winner seemed harmless, but during the first Gulf War in 1991, the BBC resurfaced a decades-old list of inappropriate tracks with battle imagery and quietly shelved Waterloo. Although the ban arrived years later, it spotlighted how historical songs can gain fresh controversy when geopolitical winds shift. Fans shrugged and kept dancing, demonstrating that bright pop often outshines censorship attempts, even in anxious times. Number 20, Rubber Bullets by 10cc, 1973. A jaunty tune about a prison riot clashing with authorities armed with rubber bullets landed awkwardly amid Northern Ireland unrest. The BBC issued partial bans, skipping the song during news of actual violence. Radio programmers feared listeners would link cheerful melodies with real casualties. Yet the single hit number 1 in the UK, proving audiences can separate satire from headlines. 10cc's clever storytelling and vocal harmonies rivaling the Beach Boys earned them enduring respect beyond this flashpoint. And there you have it, 20 tracks the gatekeepers tried to bury only to watch them thrive in the shadows and explode in the charts. Censorship may turn down the volume, but it can't mute the cultural earthquake great music creates. If you enjoyed this deep dive into forbidden 70s gold, smash that like button, subscribe for more sonic stories, and ring the bell so you never miss a beat.